Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our returning listeners, and welcome if this is your first time listening. We're so happy to have you all with us today.
Thank you for joining us for this 13th episode of the Lion Pridecast, a podcast created by the Lansing Unified School District 469, located in Lansing, Kansas.
Sharon, I wish that it was Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
We were doing our 13th episode.
I do too.
We should have coordinated that. The purpose of this podcast is to inform our Lansing stakeholders, being our community members, students, and staff, about all things education. We are your hosts. I am Miles Azzeh, Director of Teaching and Learning in Lansing USD469.
And I am Sharon Burns, the Director of Communications and Marketing. So today we are actually recording off-site at Greenbush in Lawrence, Kansas. So this is a lot of fun. Miles and I just finished I guess it's a leadership class, so learning about crisis communication. So this has been a fun day, and we are very honored to have our next guest, who is the Associate Executive Director of Greenbush, Mr. or Dr. Bart Swartz.
Just Bart. How about that?
Okay, Bart.
Yeah.
Okay.
His name is Bart Swartz, but he definitely did not want to go by doctor. He was like, no. I'm starting that journey, and I've already told people, do not call me doctor. I'm Miles, so I like that. All right, so Bart, tell us a little bit about yourself. We know you're the Associate Executive Director of Greenbush. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yep, I've been here about 15 years now, which seems pretty hard to believe, and focus mainly on supporting school leaders across the state. Before I came here, I was the Associate Superintendent at Turner School District, and I was actually on the exec team for Leadership Academy while I worked there. So that's how I really started getting connected with Greenbush. And for that, I was associate principal in Gardner, and then I taught middle school English, and I was the head girls basketball coach in Tonganoxie right out of college.
Okay.
So
That's not too far from us.
No.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you've got a pretty storied background.
Right, yeah. And we wanted to have Bart on as a guest for several reasons. One, you've been so helpful in helping us produce our strategic plan through that process. He's kind of held our hands as we walked through that process, so thank you for that. And then also many of our admin and our teachers are benefiting from classes offered through Greenbush Academy, which is what Miles and I were here today, as well as Martin Altieri, Sandy Van Sice, and Alan Penrose. So we always felt it was important to have you come on and talk about what Greenbush does. I refer to you on our website a lot, and I always feel like I need to explain what Greenbush is because a lot of people don't know. So with that, can you just tell what Greenbush is and what we have?
And a lot of people need that information or don't understand what we are. So Greenbush is an education service center, which in Kansas actually means we're a school district. We're USD469.
Okay.
But instead of having students, we have school districts that we work with. And we work with all 286 districts in the state of Kansas in all kinds of different ways, in mentoring and support for superintendents and principals, in helping provide professional learning and growth for teachers. We help districts through cooperative purchasing contracts, special education, early childhood, all kinds of programs. We actually have about just under 500 employees across the state, and all 500 of them, their job is to help school districts in Kansas. That's why we exist.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's it's funny. We talked about that we wanted the listeners to learn a little bit about Greenbush, but I learned a little bit about Greenbush.
Right.
What's the USD number again?
609.
609.
Okay.
Yep, look at that. Okay. So we've talked many times in the podcast about personal and professional growth and how important it is. What are some ways that Greenbush helps both teachers and administrators grow in this field in those two categories?
Well, there's quite a few ways, and I might just talk about how we do some of them with Lansing right now.
Yeah.
One of the things, we have about 2,000 graduates across Kansas of our Leadership Academy programs, which is mentoring for principals and superintendents. And well, Miles, you're in that class this year, and Sharon, you joined us today. So we've got people in our Academy 2 program, which supports central office staff, our Leadership Academy 1 program, which we have sessions in Lawrence, Kansas City, Kansas, Girard, and Hutchinson. as we put all of those together.
And would that be the one that has a couple of our principals in it?
Absolutely.
Brooks Jenkins and Dr. Jennifer Cole?
Yep, they're both in the building level program, and they have been so much fun to work with this year as well.
Yeah.
We also do lots for teachers, and I know you've got some teachers in teacher leader cadre, and the idea of that cadre is it's people that maybe don't want to be principals, but they are leaders in their building, and they want to start to grow and build some of those leadership skills as well. And through our School Improvement Services Consortium, our goal is to help districts be able to say, if I need something to help students grow, I have a partner that can help me do that. And when the phone rings, we're there to help.
And I can honestly say, a lot of people say things and they put up smoke screens, whatever it is. You absolutely mean that when you say it. Because I've had to call Jennifer Haney from here at Greenbush a couple times. I've called you a couple times about needing some help, whether it be for accreditation or some sort of a state mandated requirement. And you are always there to make it easier and smoother and understandable for me and my staff. So I really appreciate that. That teacher leader cadre, I know for a fact, has been really impactful for my two instructional coaches, Jennifer Nicholson and Caroline Reynolds. They speak about it at our weekly IC meetings about how much they're learning, and they're taking it back to their staff. We also have a couple teachers, I believe, that are in that. Lori Holden and Sarah Martin.
And Chris Counts.
Yeah. There we go. So we got three teachers, and I know the way that our structure is set up with our leadership is we really love when people learn something to have capacity to bring back and spread it to other people. So they do a really good job of that. So thank you guys for everything you do to get our instructional coaches and teachers better.
We love the work, and I'll just tell you, I've really enjoyed so much getting to work with so many folks from Lansing this year. It's been great.
Yeah.
Ditto.
We are better because of our partnership with you. I can say that.
And,
So switching gears back to strategic plan, can you go into what a strategic plan is and how it is beneficial for a school district?
Absolutely. A strategic plan is really your roadmap for where you want to go as a school district over the course of 3 to 5 years. And when you ask why is it beneficial to a district, I think there's two ways it's beneficial. It's product and process. The product is, what are those things we need to keep our eye on the ball on as we move forward? So whether we have external challenges, whether we have budget challenges, whether we have turnover of staff, we know that this is where we need to go, and we have ways to track that we've been successful. But maybe even more important than that is the process side of it. And that's that community building. And as we've worked on a plan together, we've had 80 people at those meetings. And they're all aligned together, giving feedback, giving advice, giving support, so that when we develop this plan, it's the community's plan. It's not just a small group of people. And I think that really helps make school districts just function a lot better.
Yeah. That's what I enjoyed the most about it was our community is a little bit divided right now on a couple topics, but the strategic plan, when we all came together, everybody worked well together, got along well for the most part, and it was a good experience.
So be honest, Bart. How has our process been? Like, how have we done? Because how many times have you done the strategic plans?
We do multiple strategic plans every year, and we do them in different formats depending on what the community wants to do. But the format that we're using together is absolutely my favorite because it brings everybody together. And then in between all of those meetings, we get chance to dig into the thoughts people have shared, the comments they've given us. As you know, we sent surveys out to people to get additional feedback. And you've been there as we've done those. The energy's high. People are excited to be there. The things they've shared are great. And I know you've shared a first draft with the board. And I'm really excited about what all's come together and about how everybody's contributed to that. And as I look at that plan, it really does show the full community input in putting that together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really has been fantastic in that aspect. Like I don't worry at all that people don't feel like they've had a voice in the process. And I think, Sharon, you've done a fantastic job of communicating to everybody, the stakeholders, where we're at, what we're up to, what it looks like. We just presented at the board meeting, and I thought that went really well. So you'd give us, if you had to give us a grade, would you give us an A?
Oh, I'd give you a solid A.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I thought you were about to say a C.
I did too.
I was like, whoa!
I hope it's a plus.
Whoa!
No.
Plus at least, yeah.
It has been great. I have enjoyed every interaction I've had with everybody that's been involved in the process.
You know, we actually had a really good time a couple weeks ago combing through the survey results.
Yes.
It was a snow day.
Yes.
But we came in and
pizza.
worked, and we got some pizza.
Some really good
and
cookies.
They were really good cookies. I wonder where they came from. Actually, you could just go ahead and tell everybody.
Well, you guys said they were COVID cookies, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They were not COVID cookies.
Yeah, well, it's funny that a couple of us got COVID right afterwards, but all right, yeah. Yet you were somehow able to not get COVID.
I know.
How funny. No, it was a good time. I feel like I was a little bit attacked that day, a bit. If we could just bring up real quickly, you would like to tell everybody my new nickname that you've given me and why?
Well, I'll just have
Just
to
real
say,
quick, Bart, my mother listens to this.
I really enjoy working with Sharon and Miles, and I believe when we were meeting that day, I talked about that I felt they were Simon and Garfunkel, and in this particular comparison, I definitely said Sharon was Simon, and Miles was kind of hanging out in the back being Garfunkel.
And that is Niles' new nickname, Garfunkel.
Yeah, to the point where, like, I walked in today, nobody asked about my knee surgery, nobody did anything. What's up, Garfunkel? What's going on, Garfunkel? How you doing? I'm like, what is happening? How did I get out here in Lawrence? Yes, that is what you've called me. The funny part about this, and I'm sorry if you're listening to this, Art Garfunkel, is that I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and do some homework, and I'm going to find out that, you know what, Bart? Let me tell you about Art Garfunkel. I don't want to tell you about Art Garfunkel. He is not a great guy. I'll just leave it at that. Do not Google his name, folks. You learn a lot of bad stuff. All right, back to the podcast.
Topics. So as you know, we are working with KASB to hire a new superintendent. We'll be taking over in July. Mm-hmm. So what kind of resources and support will Greenbush be able to provide the new superintendents once they take over?
So that's one of the things we do with superintendents all across the state. And there's a few things. So one is every Thursday morning, we host a Zoom meeting that's professional learning and support for superintendents. And there's about 200 superintendents across the state that join that. In fact, you're going to be guests on that.
That's right. Why are we being guests on
this Thursday? To talk about this podcast. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, we share newsletters every Friday, and then I work closely with superintendents in terms of mentoring. If you hire somebody that's new, our academy programs meet those mentoring requirements, and then I just spend time reaching out, talking. People will call, say, here's an issue we need to work through, and we do that as well. But that's one of my absolutely favorite things to do is just help support superintendents in the roles that they're in.
Okay, great.
Do you also help with, I know this has happened in my role as a director of teaching and learning, that Jennifer and Michael have helped a lot on the weekly CIA meetings, curriculum, instruction, and assessment. But they've really helped me with, helping realize not what I don't know, like learning what I don't know, because there's things I don't know, and there's whether they be mandates or requirements from the state. Do you do the same thing with superintendents, like keeping them abreast of things that are, hey, coming up, or hey, superintendents, you need to file this to make sure that you stay accredited or whatever it is? Do you also do that kind of stuff?
We do, and to reference the CIA meetings, I had told you we meet every Thursday with superintendents. Right. Jennifer Haney and Michael Kuntz lead that every Wednesday with building levels or building leaders and curriculum leaders. Yeah, and they're fantastic. Really structured the same. A lot of times the things that are on one meeting are also on the other, but they're just geared towards that particular audience.
That makes me feel good, because if we, with a new superintendent coming in, if they, like I said, you don't know what you don't know, and you can be great, but if you just don't know something, you don't know what a requirement is, or a lot of times you guys will keep us posted if there's a new law or regulation or new bill that we need to switch something up with. So that makes me feel really good that the new superintendent will have that support system.
Absolutely. That sense of community, it can feel like a lonely job. And so that chance to get together every week with people who share the same expectations and challenges that you have, I think is really empowering for superintendents.
Yeah.
I agree. So we've, one kind of common theme that we talk a lot about on here, and a question that we love to ask, is how guests increase their knowledge. We've talked a lot about the work that Greenbush does to increase the knowledge of all the stakeholders or all the people that are involved, whether it be superintendents, instructional coaches, district office, teachers. What do you do to continue to be a learner? What does Bart Swartz do to continue?
I'll tell you, I guess the best way to say it is I have an unfair advantage to be able to do that, because my work allows me to go work with all of these school districts all across Kansas. And when I get to go to those districts, I get to see the things they're doing. When we go help a district develop a strategic plan, I find out new things every time we do that. When I go walk the halls with a new principal who just wants somebody to come in and kind of talk through them, and I start asking questions, I find amazing things that they've been doing. And so we get those opportunities. And then I'll also add, like in our Leadership Academy programs, even today, we had an expert come in. But there was so much more learning that just took place through the conversations that people have at their tables. So my work every day of the week is to get out and work with districts. So I'm constantly pulling in new ideas and finding things people are doing.
Like a sponge.
Like a sponge.
Yes, yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. So the topic of our first podcast was This I Believe. Did you listen
You've listened to all of our.
I have.
Be honest.
I believe you have some people that have told you they listened to your podcast, but maybe they didn't.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I think the majority of people are there.
I have not listened to all of your podcasts, but I have been listening to some because I wanted to prepare for this meeting.
Okay, so you probably know this question coming. Okay.
So what's the percent chance of you listening to this podcast after this one airs? So you'll listen to this.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll want to hear my own voice on a podcast.
Aw.
What about future
But
episodes?
we'll see. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah, it's a 5-star podcast.
Hey, did you hear that?
Woo!
End it right there.
Yeah.
All right.
So we like asking our guests what their This I Believe statements. And Miles and I gave ours both personally and professionally. Last episode we were trying to remember what they were, but I got mine right.
I don't think I was that far off.
Okay.
Do we really share that? Okay, well, I guess we're sharing it. Yes, I apologize that it slipped my mind with my personal.
They were really good though.
Oh,
I think the ones, yeah.
Darn right they were. All right, say yours first. Go ahead.
Okay, mine are simply to be kind, be empathetic, and to celebrate others.
What's your personal one?
No, celebrating others is professional.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry,
Okay,
just do
my
mine.
personal one is find the bright side and be grateful. I didn't read that off of anything. My professional one makes sense for this podcast. It's education and knowledge cannot be taken away from you.
Yes.
And that one is a big deal to me. I won't forget that one.
Yeah.
I remembered you, Pops. All right, so
Okay, so could you give your
personal-
professional and your personal?
Absolutely. And Miles, you've heard these. So
Yes.
so I'm going to share them again.
Yeah, they
and
are.
I
Okay.
would tell you these are important to me. And when we hire people to work at Greenbush, these are the things we measure as well. And the first one is just be nice. And I know that sounds unbelievably simple, but I've been an HR director. And you know why you have to get involved in things as an HR director? Because people weren't being nice. So it's just that simple.
Yep, I'll give you a high five on that one.
The second one is just you need to genuinely care about people, and you want to hire people that genuinely care about people. I tell people all the time, school, it's not a curriculum business, it's not a management business, it's not a budget business, it's a people business. And you need to genuinely care about people.
Yeah.
And then the third, and I know these sound simple, but I believe they're powerful. The third is we work with kids. And if you work with kids, that should be fun. So you should absolutely strive to create fun environments for people to strive in.
I like that.
I almost want to change my beliefs. I'm going to take yours,
Well,
Bart.
we kind of did a whole episode on that.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. And honestly, I affectionately named those Bart's Big Three, and I've been sharing that with my DLT, my admin meetings,
I love it.
because I think it's cool. Because I think,
Yeah.
and I also think it really, you hear these beliefs or these vision statements or values and missions and all that are all solid, but yours is what I like about it is it's so specific when it comes to kids. You know, I mean, everybody at this table, we're all parents. You know, and what do we always worry about? I don't worry for my kids when it comes to like I hope they love school or I hope they learn how to do the quadratic equation or whatever. I want their teachers to be nice and the kids around them to be nice. You know what I mean? Like, and I want people to care for them and help them. That's way more important. And I want them to have fun there. Like, that's way more important than anything else. So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Well, and you and I were both English teachers, right? And I think when you hire somebody, you could teach them how you want them to perform in the classroom as a language arts teacher. You can't teach them how to be nice, how to care, and how to have fun.
Yep.
So those are the things you ought to measure when you try and hire people.
Yeah, that's exactly what we've talked about.
So Sharon's a little worried, though. You cannot teach about being nice for Sharon. she's got to shake her head like, I can learn it.
That's one of the first times I met Bart, too, I think, wasn't it? Where you
Yeah,
came
there
in?
was a thing
Well,
on your whiteboard
Yeah,
that
talk
said
about it.
Sharon needs to be nice.
Yeah, it said be nice
and
with
I
a
asked
little
about
box,
that.
like a to-do list. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
So I assume, now that I've gotten to know both of you a lot better,
let's hear this.
I'm just going to make an assumption that Miles probably did something that deserved a response.
He
and then he
right.
said you weren't being nice.
See, he's a smart
Were
guy.
you there
right
that
here.
day? It's insanely accurate. I walked right up to the board and said, oh, "Here's your new to-do list. Your new checkbox here.
Be nice."
Okay. I still feel like we came after Miles again. That's why Garfunkel is attacked again. All right, thank you, Bart. Those are good answers. If you are a regular listener, and you said that you were listening to a few previous episodes, is that correct?
Not all.
Ooh, you're
but,
back
but
to
I've listened to a
fast.
couple. Yeah. I have listened.
Okay,
I wanted to be
Dion
prepared
Sanders
Nice
for
to
that.
meet you. It's
All
okay.
right. Well, we ask a question, a few fun surprise questions to choose from. And so here they are. Are you ready?
Let's hear them.
Okay, and you're going to pick any one of these that you want to answer.
Okay. Number 1. If you could pick any song to be your theme song when you walk into a room, what would it be? Or walk into a room or down the street. What would it be and why? Okay.
My walk-up song. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2. What's the worst job you've ever had?
Okay.
And number 3. If you could be in the Guinness Book of World Records, what record-breaking feat would you attempt?
Oh, okay. I like all those questions, and so I'll just have to tell you, I am a music freak.
When we were coming up with these, we were like, we could
That
just
one
hurry
was
up and do the
tailored
other
for
two
you.
because we
Yeah.
know he's going to pick that one.
Yeah, and I'm going to struggle with maybe what my walk-up song would be.
Okay.
But I would tell you my drive-up song when I'm
Okay.
ready to go somewhere, and that's the song I want to hear is "Given to Fly" by Pearl Jam.
Oh, I
And-
figured it would be Pearl Jam.
Yeah,
was thinking so too.
and that is the greatest song ever written. and if you think about being nice and caring and being fun, that's what that song is all
I
about.
love that.
Going to have to listen
Yeah.
to that.
What's yours? What's your theme, like your theme song?
Ooh, I didn't even think about having to answer this. Well, considering that Rocky is no longer suspended, Bart, we had to suspend my love of Rocky because we were playing the Eagles, and Rocky's from Philadelphia. By the way, the Chiefs won Super Bowl champs, which we'll come back to in a moment. But I don't have Eye of the Tiger
Eye of
just
the
because it
Tiger?
popped in my head. For some reason it popped in my head. I love that song. You know how people go crazy with Journey?
I did a dance for that song.
Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah.
That's Eye of the Tiger for me.
Okay.
I can be anywhere, and that comes on like boxing in the grocery store. All right. So what about you? Wait, did you say you did a dance to that song?
Eye of the Tiger. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, you said that's like it's just normal.
Yeah.
Do people do dances to Eye?
When I was a cheerleader.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Mine would be Dancing Queen by ABBA.
Okay.
Feels appropriate, right?
I think so. After you just talked about dancing to Eye of the Tiger, I'm still trying to figure out how
I
you
got
did-
my brain.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Okay, well, I think...
Yeah, that
Nope.
wraps it up.
It does
That's
not wrap
time
it up.
to wrap it up.
Nope, it is not time. Bart, you don't know, apparently, because you didn't listen to our last episode, apparently. In our last episode, it was our last episode, right? Yeah. In our last episode, we had a little friendly wager about the Chiefs game, the Super Bowl, and who was going to win. We both chose that the Chiefs would win, but who was closer in score. Not only by spread, but literally close in terms of numbers. I chose 30-27, which was off, but the correct spread. And Sharon actually had the right spread too, except she chose 24-21. She thought it'd be a low-scoring game.
I thought it was 27.
I mean, either way, you're still,
I still lost.
a little farther away than I was. So, Bart, do you happen to know the final score of the Chiefs game? Do you remember what it was last week?
Well, I was fighting COVID at the time, and I'm not sure I made it to the end of the game.
Just a good one. 38-35.
Okay.
Chiefs with the victory. So, Bart, the wager was whoever lost would have to sing on the next podcast. So, Sharon?
I told someone I couldn't sing, and they said everyone can sing. It's just whether it's good or not. And I cannot sing well. I will tell you that.
I think I would sing like Elaine Bennis dances on Seinfeld.
That is what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen to me.
Well, let's see it. It's time.
Okay, so I picked a song.
Oh, you picked your song.
And we didn't say I have to be a cappella. So I've got the background. We didn't say it. I just have to sing.
You know what? For our listeners' sake, maybe it's better.
My heart's racing. Like, I'm more nervous for this than having to be interviewed by Dr. Dane.
As you should be. By the way, Dr. Dane's really ruthless today if you're listening to it.
Okay, feel free to.
Are you going to say what the song is? You're going to have to do it. You ready?
Okay. What I've chosen for Bart is The Sound of Silence, which,
God.
by the way, is not easy to sing.
Oh, my God. You really chose Sound of Silence?
Yes. Not
course
only
you did.
because it's Paul Simon with Garfunkel in the back, but also because I don't get much Sound of Silence working with Miles here.
Wow!
This is a very unusual thing for me. So,
Unbelievable.
okay.
You know what?
This is
this
really
is
bad.
worth
This
it.
is
I
gonna
was
make everybody.
rooting for you.
I should
but
make
I'm
you
not.
guys leave the room.
Nope. We're ready. Go. Wrap up the episode.
I can't do it. Okay, hold on.
You're going to have to restart.
I'm coming to talk with you again.
There you go. Now, you realize you're just speaking, right?
Because shut up. It's in softly creeping. Stop. I was sleeping. I'm singing. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. Okay.
That's it?
I did it. No,
I
that's it.
I think you're supposed to sing the whole song.
No, we're not singing.
no.
I'm
Oh,
already
wait, Bart was
sweating.
like, no,
Bart,
no,
Bart's
God,
not
no.
even looking at me. He's like looking away.
Okay. That
But
was...
I did it. If you lose a bet, whatever it is,
You know what?
Gonna,
I'm very proud of you. On our next episode, we will make another bet. I don't know about the singing, but we'll make a bet
Okay,
just so that
I'm
I
not
can...
singing again.
Yes, but hopefully, if you win, I promise I will follow through with the bet because I can't believe
Okay.
you did that. And I now think that that's a perfect way to end this episode, wrap up this episode of the Lion Pridecast. Before we jump into anything, Bart, did you have a good time?
I had a great time. This was really fun, and let me know if you ever want to do it again.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think we possibly can
I
do
won't
that.
sing next time.
He's like, then I'm 100% in. As always, for more updates and stories on Lansing USD469, you can visit us at www.usd469.net.
And if you don't already have it, download the free Lansing USD469 mobile app on Apple and Android. The app allows you to be the first to know all the fantastic things happening in our district.
Such as?
No, you say it.
Oh, you want me to say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Snow days, which
Yes.
we had one last week.
Yes.
If you like our content and want to stay up to date on the latest episodes, please follow us wherever you are listening to us and leave a review to help others find us and learn more about our great district.
We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and
Castbox, which you're not going to believe this. I just got a message from them saying that they thought you were amazing, and because they don't have anybody on there, they would like to offer you a contract to
Thanks.
come sing. Okay,
Yeah,
that's it. I was
that was
trying
bad.
to make... Yeah, sorry, Castbox. Still don't sue me. I was doing my best on that one. And if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, please send us an email at sharon.burns@usd469.net.
okay, that is a wrap on number 13. I apologize to everyone for having to hear me sing. Woo!
Thanks for listening. Bye, everybody.
Bye.